Hi all, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to do another pen cleaning and ink swap, and I have on the table a Pilot Decimo, which is part of the family of the Pilot Vanishing Point, and it does use the exact same internal mechanism and nib unit, so this video is going to be relevant for the Vanishing Point as well. In this pen, I currently have Diamine Oxblood, and I did recently purchase this pen. I've been using it quite heavily, and I am planning to do a full-length review of it. Throughout the review process, I do try to switch up the inks just to make sure that the pen does perform well with a variety of different inks. And we are going to switch into the Monteverde Napa Burgundy, which is another red ink. I am a bit of a creature of habit because I do like to try to match my pen colors with my ink colors. So in order to do this clean out, we are going to need some supplies. Typically, I would use a bulb syringe, especially for cartridge converter pens, and I typically cut the nozzle to shape so that it fits into either the grip section or in this case, the nib unit. But if you purchase a Pilot Parallel, you actually get a bulb syringe that is designed specifically for Pilot. So we're going to use this one today, and I haven't done a review of the Pilot Parallel. It's a pretty unique desk pen that is designed for calligraphy. If you are interested in seeing a review of that model, please let me know in the comments below. In addition to this bulb syringe, we're also going to use a blunt needle syringe, as well as a stack of plastic cups and some paper towel. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys a quick writing sample. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I do have Oxblood in it, but as you can see, it's actually quite low. So hopefully this will be able to still write. So again, this is a Pilot Decimo, and I have a medium 18 karat gold nib on it. It is still flowing okay, even though it's low on ink, and this nib is one of my favorites. It's very well tuned, very smooth, and a real joy to use. Our ink, as I mentioned, is Diamine Oxblood. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the sink and we'll clean out this pen. Okay, here we are at the sink. I have two plastic cups sitting in the basin and one plastic cup that's lined with paper towel over here. That's to help dry out washed components. We're gonna first disassemble this pen. I'll remove the back barrel, and this back barrel shouldn't really require any cleaning. It just has the knocking unit and it doesn't get exposed to any ink. So I'll just set that right there. And then I'm gonna pull out the nib unit itself. We'll set that there. And I will wash out the top barrel just in case any ink might have dripped into it. It looks quite clean. I'm not seeing any ink coming out. So I am going to just set that aside for now. Next, we will take off the cartridge, and I will rinse this out just a little bit. Due to the diameter of the walls on this cartridge, water doesn't really flow very easily out of it. So we're going to fill up one of these cups. Grab our blunt needle syringe and force some water into that cartridge. There we go. Didn't quite mean to fill up the cup with ink, so let's get some fresh water. There we go. It's a little challenging to do over camera, so bear with me. That's looking pretty clear. I'm gonna just use my blunt needle syringe to try and draw out any extra water. We'll tap it out and set that aside. And then for the nib unit itself, I don't recommend removing the nib from this feed because the feed is very long and thin. And I'm just a little bit hesitant because it might cause some cracking. So I'm gonna put the nib into the water, put our bulb syringe into it, and just give it a squeeze, and try and pump some fresh water through that unit. Now that I've done that a few times, let's get some fresh water. And we'll see if any more is coming out. There's still a little bit of ink. Another option here, if you aren't short on time, is to just leave the entire nib unit soaking in water and let that water dilute the ink. But for the sake of this video, I don't really want to let you guys watch that process, so I'm going to try and force some more water through this and see if it looks pretty clear. Yep, that does look pretty good. So you can see that doesn't really take too much time, and really you don't use too much water in the process. I'll help the sink drain a little bit. So we'll drop that back into our cup. Now, if you wanted to store this pen or get a more thorough clean, you could use an ultrasonic cleaner. I would probably not put the knocking unit in the ultrasonic cleaner. I mean, I don't think it'll hurt it, but there really isn't a need for it. And then afterwards, I would just let all the components dry for maybe about 24 hours before reassembling it and storing it away. But we're not going to store it away. We're going to reassemble it right now and fill it up with that new ink. So I'll see you back at the table. And we're back at the desk. There are only 3 real components to this pen, so it's pretty simple to reassemble. Let me grab our nib unit first here. And I'm gonna just make sure that it's nice and dried off. And we'll set it down. And then we'll grab our cartridge and our new ink. And take the cap off the ink bottle. With a bulb syringe, we'll draw up some ink and inject it into the cartridge. You can go all the way up until this top step up. That step up corresponds with a rib that's in this nib unit, so you don't want to really go above that. See if I can cap this up without making a mess. Okay, we'll go ahead and reinstall the cartridge into this nib unit. Insert this front part into the nib unit. There's a little rib right there that lines up to a slot. So that sits right there. And then we'll reinstall our back section. I'm gonna give this a moment to rest and we'll come back with a writing sample. And through the magic of editing, I've let this rest for a few minutes, so it should be ready to write. Again, this is a Pilot Decimo, and we can see that the ink is already quite a bit lighter than the Oxblood. It's still a medium nib, I didn't switch them out, and it's an 18 karat gold. Our ink, again, is Monteverde. Napa Burgundy. So I hope that you found this video informative and useful. It shows you a pretty easy way to clean out not only the Pilot Decimo, but also the Pilot Vanishing Point as well as switch out the inks if you are using a eyedropper cartridge. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the section below, and that just leaves me to say, thank you for watching.